Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. I know folks are dealing with graduations and all sorts of things this week, so we appreciate our business leadership being in the house tonight. Give yourselves a hand. So what we're going to do, we always like to pass the mic. We're going to, as people are coming in, we're going to pass the mic and kind of see who's in the room this evening. We have a wonderful agenda for you tonight. We are going to be talking about very important issues, not only to our community, but as business and community leaders. We believe that you all should be on the forefront in terms of the information. You have a lot of folks that depend on you. You have workers, you have employees, you have families. And so we thank you again for coming out tonight. We're going to take a brief pause. We've got some folks that are coming in, give them a chance to get situated, and then we'll start off with a welcome and greeting from our city administrator, as well as our Madam Mayor is in the house. Let's give her a hand. So we're going to take a brief pause and pass the mic. We just want to find out who's in the room. And if you would just give us your name, the name of your business, and just if you want to add a little, hello to the group, we welcome that as well. Chairman.
Hey, everybody. My name is Brandon Price Crum. I am an attorney by trade. I'm also the chairman of the Development Authority and Downtown Development Authority here in Fairburn. Good to see everybody.
Good evening. My name is Ingrid Thompson. I am the CEO and founder of Nehemiah Project Community Development Corporation, and I am happy to be here and share what our organization does for the community.
And I am Chris Vaughn, founder of In Her Company and architect of Biointelligent Strategy. I will leave it there because you'll hear from me later.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Kainisha. I am with Ready Set Pro. I'm an HR consultant, and I pretty much just help small businesses with the offboarding project of things, training and development, HR related, compliance and procedures.
Good evening. I'm Eva Johnson, retired, and I do some consulting on the side, bank consulting.
Ellen Simpson with the ATL magazine, and our website is Go See Do ATL.
Mike Simpson, I'm her bodyguard.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alicia Rivera. I'm with Feeding Georgia Families, and this is
William Joyner.
he's also with Feeding Georgia Families.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Pinky Sullivan Vernon. I am the owner of Sullivan Vernon and Associates, and we do etiquette training and personal development.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jeremy Felder with Apex Promotional Solutions. So we are your one-stop shop for all of your branded merchandise, promotional products, marketing materials needs. So if anybody growing, starting from the bottom, or if you're established, we're here to help you and be a partner, local in Fairburn.
My name is Vanessa Marks, and I'm retired, and I'm a professional volunteer. So if you need volunteers or anything, that's me. All right?
Good evening. My name is Candace Bell. I'm the founder and executive director of the Talent Enrichment Foundation. We're a nonprofit that helps youth enrich their talents by helping them pay for their extracurricular activities if they can't afford it. And I also have a band called the Candace Sherrill Experience, where we perform for different private events, corporate events, wherever you name it, we're there. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Earl Coleman. I'm with Caldwell Banker Commercial. I'm a broker, a coach, a consultant, and good Lord, create the dirt. I do everything else.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Amber Nixon. I'm an aspiring business owner in Fairburn, so happy to be here to learn a little bit more about what you all do.
Maybe bringing us a yoga studio.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tanisha Nellam. I am the owner of A Step at a Time Early Learning Location 1 and 2. Both locations reside right here in the city of Fairburn. So we service children from 12 months up until 6 years of age.
Good evening, everyone. I am Christian Renee Jacobs. I have to say my whole name because people always thought I was a little boy. But I am the owner of Jacobs Amplified, and I'm also the founder of Jacobs Amplified Mission. I'm a former educator, children's book author, and my focus is on improving literacy. So my slogan is improving literacy is our jam. What's your jam?
Good evening. My name is Loretta Revere Perry. I am the owner, my husband, my son, and my family. My husband, my son, and myself, sorry. My family. But we own and operate the Your CBD store across the track.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Marilyn McCain, and I am the Community Engagement Specialist for Grady Health System.
All right, again, let's give each other a hand. And we are so happy again to have you out this evening. We have with us our Madam Mayor who is in the house, and we are going to invite her up to give greetings, Madam Mayor. And she is a serial entrepreneur, so she knows for what you walk.
Well, thank you, and I won't speak long, but welcome, welcome. I am so excited about the business focus that we have here in Fairburn. I don't know if many of you know, but I served on council for 12 years prior to becoming mayor. And small businesses and entrepreneurship has been something that I've been preaching and encouraging and championing for a long time. And it is our intent under my administration to really be intentional about that. So stay involved, stay engaged, stay in touch, and you will hear more as the days unfold. But again, welcome, and I'm excited to hear the presentations as well. And then I also just want to take a special privilege to shout out my longtime friend and colleague, Dr. Yolanda Wembley. We go way, way back, and we've kind of come full circle here at this moment. So welcome, Dr. Wembley, and welcome to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We also have, and we're very thankful to have the chairman of our Development Authority and our Downtown Development Authority. So we are going to have Chairman Brandon Crum to come up briefly, and followed by our City Administrator, Mr. Tony Phillips, to bring you greetings.
All right, hello again, everybody. I hope everybody's having a good evening so far. Yes. Long work day? Yes. All right, just sigh a little bit, just breathe just a little bit. Well, I'm not gonna hold you long either. The mayor just introduced herself and her mission for the city. As leader of the Development Authority and Downtown Development Authority, our goal is just to make sure that the economic growth and the development that's here in Fairburn continues to reflect the culture of this particular city, and making sure that we are bringing more jobs, more developers, more development that you all can appreciate, and making sure that you're a part of that process to make sure that the future of Fairburn reflects the people that are here. I've been here for 2 years, but I am from Riverdale. I was raised in Riverdale. My law firm is Serious Injury Law Group. We started in Alabama. We expanded into Fairburn because of folks like Mr. Tony Phillips and the council, folks like Sylvia Abernathy as well, who did a phenomenal job at letting us know how great this city is, how enriched the people are here, how, as you can see, how interested the people are about the business community here. And we have been striving for a law firm that has been here 2 years. We have, by the grace of God, been profitable. which reflects the work that we do and the involvement in the community. And so thank you all for allowing us to be here. And again, I just bring you welcome on behalf of the board and of the Development Authority and Downtown Development Authority.
Thank you so much, Chairman. And Chairman and the board, he's being very modest. Under his leadership, over $90 million of investment has gone into the city of Fairburn. So we are very excited about what the Development Authority is doing and the opportunities. You'll hear more information about the facade grant that they offer every year. But we are thankful to have our chairman represented here this evening. Without further ado, yes, Mr. Tony Phillips, our city administrator. We're so thankful to have him in the house. Many of the programs that we do as directors are facilitated by our city administrator, who definitely creates and cultivates an environment of collaboration, but more importantly, also helps us as we help our business owners. Under his leadership, we were able to, with the help of the mayor and city council approval, $441,000 in grants, business grants. So we appreciate our city administrator, Mr. Tony Phillips.
Good evening. Let me begin by thanking you on behalf of the mayor, our city council, our office and city administration. I know your time is valuable. You've probably heard that before, but it's not a throwaway phrase. And that you've chosen to spend some time with us this evening, it really means a lot. I know how hard you work, how much it means to have your time be available for things like this. And so thank you. Let me just start there. I will tell you that small businesses and nonprofits are really core to everything that the city aspires to do. It is small businesses that pave the roadmap for our future. Those of you who've been here for some time knows that Fairburn is very different today than it was 10 years ago. And the reality is it's going to be different 10 years from now. And what we need to do is constantly collaborate with you as small businesses as our foundation to economic development to build that roadmap together. I've been in local government for 25 years, and I know certain principles are just essential. You can't grow a city like Fairburn without small businesses. It is our largest producer of employment opportunities. It is how we grow our city, how we attract new businesses to the city. And so this alliance that we have brought together is to help build that business alliance, the networking opportunities, the way for us to hear your voices. I want to stop there for a minute. We need to hear from you regularly. We need to know what works and what doesn't work. We need your input. Government is always about us listening to those we serve and figuring out how to turn that into reality. And so you'll hear that a lot, and sometimes people think it's just a nice thing to say. It's a reality in Fairburn. It's something that our previous mayor championed. I can absolutely tell you that Mayor Portis Jones reminds me of that on a regular basis, that your voices are what drives what we do. I would tell you that my office and Sylvia's office and anybody who gets a paycheck from Fairburn is accessible to you. You don't have to jump through hoops. We're still at a size, we're growing. We're still at a size where you don't have to jump through a lot of hoops to get to someone that can give you the information that you need, or someone who would just listen to what your needs are, how we can better serve your businesses. And so, again, we've grown a lot. We're looking to grow a lot more. I will tell you that Fairburn, and I believe this isn't just something to say, is positively positioned for the future. We're growing in a good way. The mayor and I both attend a lot of regional functions. We'll be at the state Georgia Municipal Association annual convention in a couple of months. People know that Fairburn is growing. We hear it a lot because of businesses like yours. And so we put some investment and some tools in place that we hope will be able to help us grow the right way. But we've got a lot working for us. I will tell you that having a mayor with the leadership vision of Mayor Portis Jones, a collaborative council, that's not a small thing, because you can look not too far and find places where that doesn't exist. And then the last thing I will tell you is probably the most important thing I do other than serve citizens every day is try as best I can to work with talented, committed, experienced professionals like Sylvia Abernathy. When people hear what I do for a living, they go, "You run the city." Nothing could be further from the truth. I don't do anything of the sort. What I do is work collaboratively with really talented professionals like Sylvia, and we put our heads together and we try to do what we can to serve citizens, businesses, and communities. That's really what I do every day, is just try to support and empower folks who can help deliver the services and the goals that you need. So I'll stop there. I could go on for a little while longer. Please know that we value you, we value your voice, and that we are always accessible to you and the needs for you, your business, your family, whatever you need. We are situated to succeed, and we're here to serve you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Phillips. And again, we appreciate you for coming out. Now, we have this food over here. While this is somewhat formal in the sense that we've got some amazing presenters, Dr. Wimberly, we also have Ms. Thompson, we also have Ms. Vaughn. These are experts. This represents over a century of experience in business and healthcare services, in technology. And Dr. Taylor, Dr. Maya is in the house. Good to see you. So this represents a great deal of experience that's going to be shared, but at that same time, this is a time for you to engage. We don't like using network in Fairburn. We like building relationships, because once you become a part of the business community in Fairburn, you're a part of our family. So we work on building relationships. So as we're building relationships tonight, we definitely want you to take part of the food and enjoy the presentations. So kicking us off, I would like for our speakers and our panelists to join us here at the front. And as they're coming, I'm just going to give a little bit of background about each of our speakers. We have Ms. Ingrid Thompson, is the co-founder and CEO of the Nehemiah Project Community Development Corporation. It is a nonprofit headquartered here in Fairburn that focuses on housing, neighborhood revitalization, economic development, health, education, and advocacy programs for low-income residences. Under her leadership, more than 20 years of leadership, experience in nonprofit management, community development, and affordable housing, and neighborhood revitalization. She has secured more than $9 million in grant funding, completed over 800 critical home repairs in low-income seniors communities, and expanded programs focused on affordable housing, economic empowerment, healthy communities, workforce development, and community revitalization. Let's give Ms. Thompson a hand. And before she gets started, we're going to continue with introducing our panel. We have with us the distinguished, the notable Ms. Dr. Yolanda H. Wimberly. She is the Senior Vice President and Chief Health Equity Officer of Grady Health Systems. She is nationally recognized, a physician, professor, and healthcare leader whose work focuses on health equity, community engagement, healthcare access, and reducing disparities in underserved communities. Not only that, Miss Dr. Wimberly is a devoted fan of Fairburn, I heard in one of our last meetings. So much so that if you go to Grady Emergency Hospital, you will see a room dedicated to Fairburn. So let's give Dr. Wimberly a hand and thank her for graciously coming out this evening. We also have with us Ms. Chris Vaughn. She is a published author, business strategist, entrepreneur, and founder of In Her Company, a women's entrepreneurship and empowerment platform focused on helping women create, build, and grow successful businesses and purposeful careers. She works extensively with entrepreneurs, small business owners, and mission-driven leaders on strategy, innovation, business growth, and leadership development. Let's thank Ms. Vaughn for being here this evening. And without further ado, we're going to kick it off with our business spotlight presentation, Ms. Ingrid Thompson.
Good evening, Fairburn business owners. It is such a pleasure to be here to share with you about what Nehemiah Project does and what our mission and our vision is. But before I start, I want to just give a shout out to Madam Mayor Portis Jones. Thank you, Sylvia Abernathy, and to our wonderful city manager. You have been around. I have watched you do some amazing things in this city, so we're very grateful to you. And for all of you all that are here this evening, I am Nehemiah Project. Are we going to put this slide up? And do you mind if I just turn this a little bit so I can see? I'll kind of look at both of y'all. You guys, when I was preparing for this, I forgot to put the logo on. I said, I cannot go to a business meeting without the brand. And so when I sent him, didn't have the logo on it, but voila, it has appeared. So look at that. But anyway, I'm so excited. We're talking about building stronger communities through housing, workforce development, and economic development and workforce. Just a little bit about myself. I am the founder of Harvest Rain Academy and the co-pastor of Harvest Rain Church, for those of you all that don't know. People call me pastor, but I am really just a pastor to the community. I don't really preach in the pulpit. I don't do a whole lot of that. But what I do is I go out and I make a difference in communities. I have been passionate about improving the quality of life for people in the area of housing, economic development, and health and education for as long as I can remember. When I came to Atlanta in 1979 to go to Clark Atlanta University, I came to Atlanta without a place to live. I was determined to get out of that environment. I was determined to change my life, and so I just came. And when I got here, I didn't have a job, I didn't have a place to stay. And that is what kind of fueled not just my desire for housing, but I came from a childhood where my mother and my father, they were married, but they were very unhappily married. And my mom could not live or survive on her own. And so my dad, being an alcoholic, he was a famous artist in Chicago. But we lived a double life. We were raised around a whole lot of people with wealth, but yet my mother could not do anything on her own. And so when they divorced, we found ourselves living on our own, and we were homeless. I was homeless, me and my sister at the time, going from place to place, trying to find a place to live, a place to stay. And we oftentimes define homelessness as people that live out in the street. And so I was not homeless, I just didn't have a place to go. And we found ourselves going from sofa to sofa, whoever would let us in. And so as a child, I always thought, when I get older, I'm going to be the richest black woman in the world. Not in Chicago, in the world. And the reason I was going to be the richest black person in the world, it was not because I wanted wealth, I wanted fame, I wanted all of the attention and all of that. It was because I wanted to make a difference in the lives of children, because I was a child. And all I could think of was, what do other children have to go through when they can't find a place to live? My mother moved to the projects. I was humiliated. I was devastated. And I could not believe that I would have to live like that. And so there was a passion birthed on the inside of me from there, and then when I came here, not having a place to live. And as a result, I have worked effortlessly in making sure that I am helping to improve the quality of life of children first, and now I've transitioned to seniors and to those in the working environment. It is imperative that we make sure that we provide resources for those that are in business, for those that run nonprofits, because unless nonprofits exist, which we are, we cannot sustain what is needed in the community. I tell you that story about my mother because my mother was a very dignified woman. My mother was a very stylish woman. If I had on jeans and didn't have something on to match it, she'd be like, where are you going? And I'm like, man, we come out of the projects and she's gonna tell me what I got on. But she was dignified, and I could go home and my mother would paint everything the same color to match so that she could feel good about where she had to live. We came out of a family of educators. We came out of a family who had means. But for our family, with my mom and her children after my father and her divorce, it was very devastating. So here I find myself today. I'm passionate about housing. And I'm not so much passionate about housing in the sense of, I know the initiative for Atlanta, and I work on a lot of those programs, is to be able to provide, 20,000 homes for those that need housing. I'm passionate about not just housing, but making people homeowners. You know, it's one thing to have housing, but it's another thing to be able to create generational wealth. If we are not creating generational wealth for our community, that's a problem. And we often think that building housing and affordable housing is building projects. It is not the truth. Because when you can't afford, if you're making $150,000 a year and you can't afford to pay your car note, then you need an affordable car. If you can't afford to pay your mortgage because you got laid off, you need an affordable place to stay. If you cannot afford to send your children to a decent center where they can be educated, or putting them in different, like what she said over there, and putting them in different activities, then you cannot afford what you are going through and experiencing. And so as a result of that, my passion has been, of course, for housing. We have done, and I love how you read that, because that puts me in remembrance of how hard I've been working. On my website, my son, at the time it was 800, now we have completed up to 1,200 homes, rehabbing and repairing over the last 9 years. In 2016, 2017, I moved over to begin to work with Nehemiah Project. I founded it in 2002, but we were just doing cleanup in the community. And as a result of that, we have been able to, that richest woman in the world, I may not be the richest woman in the world, but I know how to raise money to give people what they need. And we were able to raise over $10 million, y'all. Over $10 million to provide not housing for the poor, which I have nothing against that. I want to be able to help the poor, but to maintain the dignity of seniors, to be able to keep them in their homes. Those that own their homes, where their husband may have deceased, or they were a school teacher, or they worked in some kind of industry in the cafeteria, they were able to buy a house. Everybody should be able to afford a home. Amen? I'm going to start preaching in a minute. But just want to move forward, because with that, in affordable housing, and I don't even like using that word, it's attainable housing. Our goal at Nehemiah Project now, since we have done rehab, repair, we have worked for the Department of Watershed Management, we currently do under a contract, where we actually are the administrators for the Care and Conserve Plumbing Repair Program. That program provides water conservation education. It provides us being able to take those galvanized pipes out of people's homes that have lead in them, with children living in there. We are able to do a combination of things with healthy homes, with being able to provide this service, and then by having the people who work with us employ, the small businesses to employ our plumber helpers, which is a part of our contract. If you're going to work with us, you're going to help somebody else get there. It is no reason why these young people can be out on the street and not have a place to work because they have no skills. We need to begin to put a demand on the business people, or we need to put a demand on those that have businesses, especially in the construction field, to begin to take these young people under their wing. And you don't even have to be young. Take them under your wing. Show them what you know how to do, so that you can now duplicate a new licensed plumber, a new HVAC person, a new person that can come and do the same thing in the community. So one other passion of mine is small businesses, and I think I told somebody in here that before. I am the girl, my presentation, I go on a rampage. I'm the girl that when you open up a restaurant, and if I go and I like it, I'm going to tell everybody about it. And then when I see that restaurant close after less than a year, I cry. My heart is broken, because I know that that business owner took everything that they had to put into that to put into that business. And when that business fails, it breaks my heart, because I'm out there, I'm your free marketing person. I talk about kiss my grits all the time. I don't even sit in there to eat, but I sure get me a plate and I'll go. But I'm telling everybody about good businesses, because we have to understand that as business owners, we have got to make sure that we educate ourselves, that we understand financial literacy, that we understand the financing part of our business, so that we are prepared. So one of the initiatives that Nehemiah Project has been working on, because we have plumbers, and they're like mom and pop operations for real, and a lot of times they don't even know how to do the invoices, but we will take them on because they're talented, because they're skilled, and we help them to do the administrative part that these government agencies that we get funded from require. Why? Because they have a skill. They're contributing to the advancement of our communities. And if they lack the skills to be able to do an invoice or to do a business plan, they know how to fix anything. Then we have an opportunity and a responsibility to help them. So with our workforce development program, we're not just doing plumber helpers, but we're now starting a leak detection program. That's an area that we found working with Watershed, that, hey, we can qualify some young people, teach them how to find the leaks, and everybody that we go to has to have a leak, then they have now a job and they have a skill, hopefully to be able to grow in that. We want to be able to help businesses put together business plans so that you'll know exactly what is expected when you go out and you start a business. And so that is one of the goals of Nehemiah Project moving forward. Now we're in the season where we're starting to develop. We have done all kinds of rehab around the city of Atlanta, South Fulton. Now we're moving into the development stage. We want to be able to build homes to be able to provide for our, not just low income, but everybody that can qualify for a home. Our teachers need a home. The people that work for y'all need a home. And we should not stigmatize that. I see that a lot in different communities, not here, I'm not sure where we are, but I see that a lot. Stigmatism, we're thinking we're building for something that's gonna be shabby, but that's not the case. My mom was dignified in that project. She made sure everything matched. It was embarrassing though, because she'd paint you if you stood still enough. But the thing is that we need to maintain the dignity. The work that we do in our repairs is maintaining the dignity of those seniors that live in those households. And to be able to build and provide housing for people that is quality, that's important. And so that's our mission, that's our goal when we talk about building stronger communities. You cannot build stronger communities without strong housing. Your people need somewhere to live. And Fairburn being situated right on the bus line, right not far from the airport, we have the opportunity to be able to build and to develop housing that our workers can live in, right? So where are we? Our focus is on housing. You can go to the next slide. Tell me when my time is up. Tell me when my time is up. Okay. Okay, sorry. So where are we? Our focus is housing stability, community revitalization, workforce sustainability, economic mobility, and water and energy conservation. It's very important in the work that we do. We're helping to improve the quality of life, but we're also helping to teach people how to save money, how to be able to utilize what they have in their homes to be able to save money so that they can afford the other things that are necessary for their lives. So we talked about housing, economic infrastructure, and then the housing challenge. When we talk about the housing challenge, we're talking about rising costs, aging housing stock. What we do is we go in to help those people remain homeowners by upgrading their homes so that they can stay there. It's nothing like a senior that can't stay in their home because they have a leaking roof or because they have pipes that are busted, because they have floors that are caving in. The work that we do is to go in to help them to maintain stability in their own homes and to be able to age in place. Workforce displacement and utility burden. How many of y'all know that if you're paying more than 30% in your water bill, you're paying too much? 30% in housing is too much. And oftentimes that's where we find ourselves are. And in the climate that we're in, we're seeing so many people with high-level jobs. I'm talking about Amazon and these big corporations where they're losing their job. And it's like, where are they going to go? How are they going to afford to be able to stay in their homes? And so as a community, I think that's something that we all need to be mindful of, that we can help and begin to provide resources for those people that are going through those challenges. See, I'm all over the place, so that's why my presentation. But I want to just close. I think I've said a lot of this. One of the things that we're really working with and we're partnering with people is green development, energy efficiency, and water conservation, and healthy homes. We are working with an organization who is beginning to teach on how lead is affecting our children in our homes and how children that are 6 years and under, if they are in a home that is old, how that is affecting their ability to learn, that's affecting their ability to be able to move forward in what they're doing and what they're progressing in. And so we want to make sure that we will continue to do that to help our organization meet the needs of those houses that children live in. So how can the business partnerships help? Corporate sponsorships. I know that, I'm not sure if there are any corporations in here or not, but it's very important that we learn to support one another in initiatives that we have and working together. One of the initiatives that we do have for companies is that we ask them to come and to volunteer with us, to just have a day that we will, Maya and I worked on that working on that with her group, to have a day where your employees or your community can come out and fix up a home for a senior that already lives in that home, owns that home, and to come and just do spruce ups for their housing. Also, skilled trade partnerships. Being able to have partnerships, if you have someone that works with you, particularly for us in construction, and you're interested in them getting opportunities, we would love to partner with you in that, giving them the opportunity to work alongside of us, and also to work with some of the other home repair programs that we work with throughout the city to also be employed in those areas. Also, the volunteer initiatives, I mentioned it, and then financial investment. If the businesses are interested in investing in helping the seniors or helping some of the projects that we do, we would welcome that. And we would also welcome the opportunity to be able to utilize some of your services, since we are a local business, and being able to move forward in the work that we do. And so I think I'm going to stop now because I think I'm out of time, but thank you all so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Thompson. I tell you, as we all know, housing is fundamental to our community. We can't build our business without having the housing density, and the work that you do with helping our seniors to stay and age in place. The dignity you bring in bringing houses to our youth is outstanding. And don't worry, my mother used to paint me too. Except she was a church-going woman, so it wasn't paint, it was anointed oil. So thank you again for all that you do, and thank you. For those who may have questions, please hold them to the end. We will have a Q&A session. Next, we are going to hear from Dr. Wimberly. We are so excited to have you again and all that you are bringing to our community through Grady Health Systems. So we welcome you to present. Thank you.
Thank you. It's really nice to be here. I am Yolanda Wimberly. I am the Chief Health Outcomes Officer at Grady Health System. Initially was the actually was at Morehouse School of Medicine for 20 years, practiced there. I'm a pediatrician by trade, but I specialize in teenagers. So, you know, you gotta be a little bit crazy. Been doing that for about, yesterday was my 30th year anniversary. Oh, awesome. So been doing this and have been in this position at Grady. We started this position about 4.5 years ago, so 5 years will be my mark in October. And have with me Miss Marilyn McCain, who is the Union City Citizen of the Year, 2025. But Marilyn is one of the backbones at Grady Hospital, has been executive director of our laboratory services. She served there for over 35 years, and I have the pleasure of now having her on our team here as a health outcomes officer. So I wanted to talk just a little bit about what we're doing at Grady and also the new freestanding ED. How many of you guys know that we are having a freestanding ED come? Okay, we call it a FSED. So if you hear FSED, it means freestanding ED. It opens June 2nd. June 2nd or June 1st, Marilyn? June 2nd, right? June 2nd. And it is, we had the ribbon cutting ceremony last week, and we had a lot of the officials from all of the 8 South Fulton cities that were present, including Fairburn. In addition, we had a couple of state officials. What this represents for Grady, since it was founded in the mid-1800s, this is the first time we have expanded outside of downtown. First time ever. And we chose South Fulton. And it was chosen for a reason, because of the fact that this is, as people know, they like to use the term healthcare desert, but it is a opportunity for us to be able to come into an area that, if we think about it, when you get kind of south of I-20 and 285, there's nothing as far as emergency services unless you go down to maybe Piedmont Fayette or you go to Main Grady. But for the most part, that's about it. Depending on the traffic patterns, depending on the time of day, depending on your transportation access, it could take people upwards of probably about 20 minutes to up to an hour and a half to get to emergency services. And so that's why we chose that area, was to make sure that we were able to come into an area that really badly needed services. And I am a 26-year resident. I live in the city of South Fulton. I've been there for 26 years. My children attended Landmark Christian right across the street, so I was driving here. Every time I drive here, I'm like, oh, I think we're going back to Landmark. I'm an empty nester now, so that's great. But and so have done quite a few things in the city of Fairburn. So glad to be here. One of the things that we know that healthcare does is, of course, it provides access. But how do you make that tie to economic stability? Because if you feel good, you do what? You get up, you go to work, you go do activities, you do things. You stimulate the economy. You're productive, right? You're able to purchase things. You're able to go out. And so as you think about it, healthcare becomes the foundation to everything, and access to not just any type of healthcare, but I'm talking access to quality healthcare. I'm talking about access to where you can go somewhere and be able to be given evidence-based care that is going to help to improve or sustain your life. And so that's going to be important. Why Grady? Well, I'll tell you why Grady. Because at Grady, truly mission-driven, and people really do care. As I was listening to your talk about the Nehemiah Project, I said, you know, that's passion, right? And most of the people, we have about 10,000 employees at Grady. I would probably say about 90%, because not all of them can, but about 90% of the folks that work there can work anywhere else they want to be. They choose to work at Grady. It's very difficult because of the fact that we have limited resources at times. We also have sometimes a complex patients that we're privileged to serve, which means that my 8-hour day is probably a little bit harder than somebody else's 8-hour day, because I have social determinants of health going on. I have everything else. I don't just talk to a patient, write a prescription, and we're done. I got to talk to the patient. I got to figure out where they live. I got to figure out where the pharmacy is. I got to figure out if they can get to the pharmacy. Then I got to figure out if they have the money for the pharmacy. So that means I have to know how much the medication costs. Then I got to tell them how much it costs, and I got to tell them what method of payment they accept. Then I have to help them get that transportation to that center if it's not close to where they live. And so there are just a couple of other steps, and that's why it's important for Grady Health System to come into this area, because of the fact of how we were built, because of the mission, because of the wonderful people who work there, and because we are committed to this community. I think when we ran the numbers, and we thought you guys were coming down to Main Grady. I'm gonna go ahead and give the secret away, even though I got to get y'all down to Main Grady. We thought they were coming to Main Grady. They're like, no, we're trying to go to the freestanding ED. We had this whole elaborate tour set up, but we had at Grady we have that we could identify about 126 folks who actually live in the city of Fairburn, employees. So they were going to greet you guys. See? But that's okay, because y'all got to come down and we'll do it anyway. But what we do with that is we try to definitely make that tie so that people understand why it's important, because of the fact that we're here taking care of the citizens of this community. So another tie that we have with economics is thinking about this. More consistent income and spending, talked about that. Better education outcomes, so a stronger future workforce development. We're going to have that freestanding ED. We're then also going to have a medical office building that's opening up probably in the next year or so, and then we're going to have a hospital. That's going to generate lots of job opportunities, lots of jobs for businesses. I'm thinking that in that MOB, they're thinking about even having some retail space in there for people, and so those are opportunities to get out in front of people. The other thing that I was thinking about as you were speaking is I'm now over patient progression at Grady. I just got, I guess, a promotion and expanded role on Tuesday, which puts me now over the entire discharge and inpatient process at Grady in addition to the outpatient. And so one thing that I'm seeing is we have so many patients at Grady who have no place to go. We can't discharge them. Families maybe not stable enough to take them. Maybe families are stable enough to take them but don't want to take them. Home health, it's hard for us to get home health. It's hard for us, and a lot of them are seniors. A lot of them are seniors who may need a little bit of help but have nowhere to go. And so we have to wait on them to get a bed in a SAR or SNF or one of these assisted living places. But I'm thinking to myself, back in the day, it used to be community. Because there's nothing that these places are doing that's any different than what somebody can do in a household. It's just whether or not that person's going to do it in Fairburn, at their house, or that person's going to do it in Crestview at a center. And I'm just sitting there thinking about it because I probably had today, I had about, when I counted, it was about 27 people that we cannot let out of the hospital because they have nowhere to go. Do you know how much it costs to stay in a hospital every day? How much does it cost to stay in a hospital overnight? About $1,600, $1,700. That's if you're not on a vent. If you're on a ventilator in the ICU, you're talking about $3,000 to $4,000. That is an opportunity for a small business because we have nowhere to send them. So what do? They stay with us. And now that and these are our family members. These are our community members. Miss Johnson, who lived up the street in that house, and you're like, where's Miss Johnson? I haven't seen her in a while. She's at Grady. And so think about that as you're thinking about businesses, as you're thinking about services, because we have lots of folks in our community that can do those types of things that you put a business plan together, we need a place to send people. And so thinking about those types of things, workforce development. We have a teen experience and leadership program. It's a summer program that we have at Grady where we take high school students and they come down, they do a shadowing experience. Started out with 80 kids. We now, this year, starting on Tuesday, we have 1,551 kids, high school kids. So, and their parents. I had to put that one in there. So I was telling our marketing people the other day, the majority of these kids and their parents have never been to Grady before. They're not patients. This is new exposure. So we're also talking about workforce development. They're going to come in and they're going to shadow in 82 different departments at Grady. And they'll be over the freestanding ED as well. But what we're doing with our young people is we're allowing them an opportunity to come in and help us, to come in and learn a trade, to come in and upscale. We are partnering now with Atlanta Tech to where I'm sending 10 of them over to get a certified nursing assistant degree. You see what I'm saying? We're partnering with community members. Dr. Meyer Taylor, we're partnering to have some of the students go with her to learn about leadership development. And so that's an important piece for us too, for some of these businesses. When they say we can't find good kids, I got about 1,500 of them. And if you tell me specifically what you need down to even the address, I can do that too. And 117 of those kids live in the city of Fairburn. You see what I'm saying? And I've already talked to Madam Mayor and City Manager Tony Phillips about having them come here to City Hall, to see their City Hall, to see where you are, to see how this works. And so those are the type of connections that we're making at Grady for that economic piece. The other piece is looking at sustaining population stability and growth quality. So, you know, one of the biggest things that we're asked about at Grady is, are you guys gonna have, with the freestanding ED, people are like, oh, Dr. Womack, we want OB, right? That was the main thing they wanted. As you guys know, OB is sometimes difficult. You need to have really specialized people to do it well. Because that's the reason why you have a lot of these rural hospitals and stuff that are closing, is because the insurance premiums go up because the risk is high. But when we have babies that come in, you have to have a big team because anything can happen with babies. How many of you guys knew that Grady has the only OB ICU in the area? The only OB ICU. We have people that send their patients, Northside, Piedmont, they send their pregnant patients to Grady to deliver if they are high risk. All the time. We have a NICU. Our NICU holds up to 60 babies. People don't know that. People think about CHOA. I also work at CHOA. People think about CHOA with NICU, but Grady has one of the most advanced NICUs. In addition to, of course, what everybody knows us for, which is trauma. But do you know the number one reason for trauma that comes through the doors at Grady? Falls. People always say, oh, gunshot wound, oh, the knife and gun club, oh, this. Nah, not really. It's falls. falls. Why do most people fall? Why do most people fall? They fall in their house, typically over a rug, a step, or something. What'd you say? A toy, a dog. Think about it. I was walking and I fell. And so the thing about it is these are common things that happen that if we send, do you guys have a fall prevention program in Fairburn? When you go to your senior citizens' homes and you go to the places, assisted living places, what do you talk to your citizens about falls and fall prevention? That's one of the easiest things to do. Do you do fall risk assessments? We're trying to start now where we go into people's homes and do a free fall risk assessment. Lots of insurance companies will pay for it because that's the number one reason people come into Grady for trauma. It's not sexy, it's not fun. One of the teenagers told me last year who was on the trauma rotation, he goes, Dr. Wembley, you know, I got to see a gunshot wound, I got to see people get shot, I got to see people get stabbed. They get excited about it, so I have to tamper that down. I understand where the excitement's coming from, but we can't really go out having those conversations. He said, but I saw a lot of older people falling. He said, I went home and I talked to my grandparents about it. So those are the things that we're teaching and we're learning. But if you don't have a lot of fall prevention in your community, think about that. When you look at the health care in Fairburn, how many healthcare private practices do you have? How many ambulatory sites? How many urgent cares do you have? Do you guys know what you have in the city of Fairburn? How many you have? Where do you guys go to access emergency services? What's the closest place? Where do you say? To where? So you go to Kaiser on Jonesboro. Where else? Piedmont, which one? Piedmont, Fayette. Urgent care. Is there a Piedmont urgent care here? Okay. Where else do you go? Piedmont Noonan? Piedmont Fayette. So you guys go south. Okay. So now with the new freestanding ED, it's really close to here. It's at 5500 Campbellton Fairburn Road. Do you guys know where that is? Y'all know where Renaissance Middle School is? It's right there, and it has a Chick-fil-A and a Starbucks and all that across the street. We're right across the street in front of the Board of Electors, right? So that's where we are. And we open on June 2nd. And I think on average, we've had about 6 to 7 people come per day who think that we're open. 35 in one day. So that lets you know that people are waiting for that to open up. But one of the things that I want you to hold Grady's feet to the fire is that's just the beginning. When we have our medical office building, when we have our community hospital, we're gonna have focus groups, we're gonna have opportunities for you guys to put input. I need you to come out and tell us what you want. Because I can guarantee you, they already kind of know what they're gonna put in there. But when you guys come out and say something different, it makes a difference. When I say it, it's, well, you know, who knows? You don't know. Maybe you're just paraphrasing what they say. But when you guys show up, it makes a difference. And as I close out, I wanted to just mention one other thing with that is that we are hiring for the freestanding ED. We are hiring for positions. And so definitely take a look at the Grady website. And then also, the last thing I wanted to talk about was just looking at healthcare and how you individually, one idea that I had was I'm in the city of South Fulton, and now that my neighbors know, I live in a neighborhood about 40 houses. Now that my neighbors know that I kind of have something to do with this freestanding, they come, I promise you, I get somebody come into my house at least every couple of days to ask me a question about healthcare. So we started something in my community where we have once a month, I meet with them on Zoom, and we talk about healthcare. And it has been really one of the very telling for me because we're the youngest couple in our neighborhood, and we're 55. So most of the folks in our neighborhood are probably going to be, most of them are retired. And so it teaches me a lot about the senior community and what the needs are. And one of the biggest needs is transportation. Just transportation to the doctor and back. That's it. So what my kids, I have two 19-year-olds, have started to do is they started a business where they take people to the doctor's appointments. Now, I tell them, I mean, they okay drivers. I don't let them drive me. But they're pretty safe. But all seriousness, though, they take them back and forth to their appointments. And it becomes more than just something where, you know, I mean, they may make like $5 or something. Because they'll be like, Mom, they only gave me $5. I'm like, well, that's fine. You were with her all day, but that's fine. But the learning about it, right? The learning, the community, the relationships, building, understanding, those types of things. Think about in your own neighborhood. How do you all take care of each other as neighbors when you talk about health care? When you drive down the street and you say, I haven't seen Miss Jones in a while, her grass is kind of high. Instead of calling the city and reporting her, when do we go knock on the door and say, hey, you doing okay? So I just want to put that little bug in your ear because it all starts with us here as community and being able to help each other out and to make sure that we have those resources. And I'll close with, Madam Mayor and I, she knows me from when I first started practicing medicine. And it really has been a true journey to look, to see, but to also be able to come back full circle with this opening of the freestanding ED and eventually the hospital within my own community. And so definitely reach out to us if you guys need access. If you come up with ideas for small businesses to have something to do with healthcare, we need it at Grady because we do not have options. And so that's what we need from the community, for you guys to come and say, we can take care of our community members. These are the things that we have decided that we can get together and do. And we would really, really jump at it. So thank you very much. I didn't go over my slides, but they talked a lot about that.
Thank you so much, Dr. Wembley. Let's give her another round of applause. I know you all heard it too, but thank you, Dr. Wembley, for your passion. There's some people that are in the medical field, and we all have heard the complaints about the connectivity. You understanding the community, understanding the need, and then challenging us as not only people in the community, but business owners about filling in the gap. Hearing that 27 people have to remain at the hospital because they have no place to go. That was one day. Oh, my goodness. And someone out there, wow. And somebody out here has been in your mind churning an idea about how they can further develop housing. Now you have an answer. I also thank Ms. McLean. Marilyn has been working with us since day one. We really appreciate it. Let's give her a hand. She made it to, she was so passionate about getting the word out about Grady, initiated the focus groups with our seniors, and then also made it to Third Fridays and was beating the pavement. Making sure, so thank you again, and thank you, Dr. Wembley, so much for you. We just, really, please give them another round of applause. We have a desert. I mean, healthcare desert. We've identified that not only in our economic development strategic plan, our mayor, that has been something on her heart, on the city council, our city administrator. So we are just happy to be partnering with Grady, and we know only the best is yet to come. We're going to take a 5-minute break, and then we are going to go into what we believe is going to be a wonderful tool for our businesses, and that's AI. A lot of times people think of AI as the enemy. The enemy to jobs, the enemy to innovation. But actually, our next presenter, Ms. Vaughn, is going to pretty much share some information of how it can be your best friend. It can help you in your labor selection. It can help you in your productivity. It can help you even in getting your budgets, helping streamline. So she is going to do an in-depth, engaging presentation, followed by, now I'm giving you a heads up, LaTanya. Latanya is our Main Street coordinator. She's going to do some updates, but this is going to be a wonderful presentation by Ms. Vaughn. So we're going to take a 5-minute break. Please use the restroom, get some food, and we'll start back up in 5 minutes. Oh, yes, ma'am. So once you come out, you're going to make that right, and then another right, and it's going to be right down the hallway. So we'll have some folks out there. A couple of them, not ATL Magazine. Thank you for being in the house. We appreciate you. They do a lot. Again, when we say that you're part of the Fairburn family, Mike and Ellen, they received the Rice Award from the NAACP for how many businesses that they promote and put on the market. So we really appreciate them. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. So we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll start back up in 5 minutes. Thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, we are starting back. So we're going to ask everyone to have a seat. We're starting back. So we're going to ask everyone to return to their seats. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We appreciate you all for taking time to get to know your neighbor. So we're going to resume on our agenda for this evening, and we are so thankful that you all had an opportunity to meet with each other and to touch base. Next, we are going to hear from Ms. Chris Vaughn, Chief Executive Officer of In Her Company, and we're going to talk, as we talked a little bit before the break, about fundamentals of AI resourcing small businesses for growth and productivity. So we are thankful for Ms. Vaughn. Ms. Vaughn is not only, I believe she is a native of Fairburn, but she has also been an outstanding community partner for several years. Since I lived in Fairburn years ago, and then returned as an employee of the city of Fairburn. And I tell you, Ms. Vaughn has been just an outstanding support to all of our businesses, but more importantly, as a female entrepreneur, she has brought that level of expertise and excellence to our community. So without further ado, I invite Ms. Vaughn to come up, and let's give her a round of applause as she comes.
So I'm going to forewarn you. This is going to be a slightly different talk than what you may expect. The reasons why will become evident as I go along, but I hope that you will take as much from it and use it to get you where you want to be. I also want to thank Sylvia and Lady Mayor, Madam Mayor. Fairburn is a city that has enough of the historical and enough of the modern. And you can be as involved here as you want to be or not. It's not like going to Atlanta proper where you may not get into the meetings, be out in a hallway, and if you do, who cares? Not knocking it, but this is a place where you can truly get involved, have an impact, and I'm just so thankful to be here because for the past several years, we relocated here from St. Louis, and I fell in love with the place gradually. At first, I didn't. I'm just saying, it was an interesting relocation, but honestly, my husband could not have picked a better choice. I love it here, and I've wanted the opportunity to just give something back, not only to the women, but to the community, and I hope that's what you find this to be. So, a little bit, there we go. All right, so a little bit about myself before we get into the material. Obviously, I am Chris Vaughn. I am the founder of In Her Company, as Sylvia said. I am also the architect of biointelligence strategy, which is a patent-pending methodology that combines identity, biology, and translates that into actual personal and business strategy for entrepreneurial women. I totally believe that business is an extension from who you are. It's not something you try on for fit and for size, which is where many of us go astray. So I use my methodology for entrepreneurial women to become their own solution. Before I started that, which I have been doing for the past 20 years with women business owners only, helping them to identify gaps in operations and strategy, things that they consider impossible because it's really a lack of structure. It's not that it actually is. And if they are indeed multi-passionate, that Sylvia mentioned earlier, helping them get, or working with them to get out of their heads so that they can articulate that vision and bring it into reality. Before I did this, I was in telecom, and I am dating myself. I started out in telecom when Ma Bell deregulated, and the only thing that you had was a household phone. Okay, and I started, and then I went when cell phones became a thing. I started out there, and they too only rang. But my career ended with Verizon and Fios, so I got to see a lot of the transitions in technology there, and eventually brought me to the AI journey, which is the topic I'm going to speak on today. The reason why I want to tell you about my AI journey is not only so you'll know my foundation, but hopefully so you can navigate your path too, because perhaps you've seen some of the same things, but you haven't been able to articulate it. What is it just that you are seeing? And so it wasn't until 2024 that I actually took a look at AI. Like most people, I wanted to hang back and, kind of see, okay, what is this GPT, stuff all about? I saw everybody jumping on a bandwagon, and I was like, I'm gonna see what happens to y'all. And so when GPT-4 hit, though, that was a little bit different. And so I wanted to look at it, but I also wanted to know, okay, it's not only ChatGPT, I wanted to know how to use these tools. And so being the lifelong learner that I am, I took a certification program. So I have 3 certifications in AI. The first one is I'm a certified AI marketer, certified AI specialist. Now, both of those taught me how to use AI. That was good. But being in telecom, I was like, no, there's a back end here somewhere. I want to know how this works. And the thing about those certifications, I'm glad because they gave me my start. But where the certifications left you was certified but dependent. You knew how to use these tools, but if you wanted to help somebody else, then that means you return to the same instructors that taught you. They would build it out. You'll get a finder's fee, and then, okay? So it wasn't until the 3rd certification, which is AI Generalist, which I actually learned how to build. And I went from, within a year, I went from knowing nothing about AI to being the project manager of our capstone project, which was selected to showcase to Google headquarters and our university in Bangalore, and head up a global team. Okay. And so if you can read, if you can follow directions, anybody indeed can learn AI, okay, but it does take sticking to it. So here's the thing. The reason why my talk, don't get me in trouble. Given that that's my background, I see a lot of things in AI, even in the short time that I've been in it. And so tonight I just want to talk to y'all. I have 30 to 45 minutes. We will get out here on time. I'm going to keep the pace moving, but please just stay with me and I'll lead this, okay? So you don't have the problem that you think you do. AI is indeed accelerating everything, but most founders do not have an AI problem. They have, I saw 12. I was like, 12 tabs open, shoot. They don't know my laptop. But most founders have 12 tabs open, 5 subscriptions, unfinished systems, vague workflows, and fragmented operations, which is the same thing not only women entrepreneurs, but all entrepreneurs face. And even if you are not an entrepreneur, if you're running a project or even a household. So the promise of AI initially was that it was going to come out, It will help you do some things faster, better, quicker, almost like the $6 million man. That's what it sounds like for those of y'all who know long. Yeah, Make them quicker, faster. Okay. So you have more tools and less direction, but acceleration without clarity creates chaos. That's because the focus and the values are being placed on the wrong thing. I cannot stress enough the importance of clarity. Doesn't matter if you're a business owner or not, but without clarity, nothing happens. You can have the prettiest Instagram page. You can have banging TikTok. You can have the most elaborate profile. But if it is saying nothing, it will land you nowhere. That's because clarity is actually, for those of you who have businesses, clarity is operational leverage, okay? It is also the formula that we came up with, which is clarity plus structure equals intent and impact. Intent, because once you are clear on whatever it is that you want to do, the way forward does indeed reveal itself. It tells you what the next steps are. But most people go into business or do whatever the new thing it is. They'll get the business cards, they'll buy the workout outfit, and it's like, oh, I'm set. That doesn't make you, nor does that make you clear. Okay? So clarity plus structure equals impact. And when you hear a lot of people who are either frustrated or saying, well, AI doesn't work. Well, AI can only amplify your existing patterns, okay? So it's not a magic wand, but AI will either formalize your mess or amplify your clarity. Okay? If you don't know what you are doing or what you want, it is not the time to turn on the audio to ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, because remember how when YouTube first came out, or either you first got on it, you'll be watching one video and then all of a sudden 20 videos later you're looking at squirrels climbing flagpoles in England, right? Squirrel, okay? AI will take you anywhere that you want to go. It will take you, but with vague directions. It will take you, confidently accelerate you in the wrong direction. But you're confident, though. Okay? Defining, and we use these words every day, so some of it is, it's understandable, okay? We know what we're talking about. And we make assumptions that what we're talking about or what we think what we're talking about translates into the end result that we want. But defining what good is, aligned, acceptable, defining what these things look like is a human responsibility. Oh, but now we have a problem. Because the human is asking AI to do something and then telling AI, that's not it, that's not what it worked, and now I burned out my credits. The human doesn't know either, okay? So the question is no longer, can AI do the work? Because it's been proven. AI does such a wonderful job that of the industrial tests, now I'm talking about the exams that people have to take for licensing and certification, including doctors. AI is now at the point where it scored a 94, I believe, on a physician, and diagnosis disease and symptoms with a greater accuracy than a human does. Okay? And I say that, so here's the disclaimer. Do your own due diligence still and use it responsibly, okay? Because at the end of the day, it is your responsibility, okay? But what becomes the highest value of use of intelligence? Because intelligence or knowledge just became very cheap, okay? And the best use of human intelligence is what you have to determine. So for those of you who are entrepreneurs, are in business, and when I say entrepreneurs, I'm including those who maybe have one-off projects, nonprofits, whatever it is that you're into that you're doing now. What is the real work of your company? And I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. If you say you're a photographer, you don't know what you're doing. But if a person says, I document life, your assumption is, okay. So I'm intrigued because if they document life, then I'm taking it that even though they may have the same camera as the photographer over here, that maybe they're going to photograph me a different way. Maybe they've done something for the scenery, okay? Maybe they have an experience that they're going to create, and that experience that they create for me is going to result in the pictures. A photographer has a camera and clicks, and you get a photo. A person who documents life, you are happy to open your wallet because you are making assumptions in their favor. You're looking forward to the journey that they are going to take you on, and you are trusting that the result will indeed be what you want. Photographer, Olin Mills. When I document life, you're going to make sure that you come and show up to the studio on time. You're going to be ready, and you make both of your journeys, business owner and client, you make both of your journeys easier and better. If you cannot answer what it is that you do and clearly who you do it for, don't expect AI to know either. The thing second to this is identity. Identity is not branding. I know we hear that a lot today. Oh, this is, I'm open to have a new identity. I'm totally redoing my page. It's going to be fresh or whatever it is. Identity is actually infrastructure, okay? It also is intelligence. Now, those things are they work together, they can be combined because it's not only your identity and your intelligence, but that of your business also. And so what most business owners typically do is like, okay, what do I know? What do I know? What can I do? I'll put that out there. They don't stop to look inside and see what has my own life story been telling me, showing me, what are my common threads. And if I do put this out there, what am I actually doing by virtue of that? Because it's not just an action, but it's become that. And that's why so many business owners are frustrated, burnt out. They're doing the right tactics. But you can do the right tactic at the wrong stage of business and have zero outcome. These things have to be aligned. And it's a challenge, but I guarantee you, if you take the time to ask yourself these questions, to dive deep into these things beforehand, then whether it's AI or anything else, it's going to work for you. But you have to mind yourself, but you have to value yourself enough to mind yourself because within you is gold. But you've been taught not to look at it, though. Originality. Remember I said AI amplifies. If you do not know who you are, AI will happily help you imitate somebody else. And it's such a shame because you might as well be yourself because everybody else is taken. And all of this is related, identity, intelligence, both business and personal, because your business reflects your internal architecture. What's going on inside of you? Because everywhere you go, there you are. It's the reason why women business owners or any business owners, you see them stutter start. Right when they have a major breakthrough, they signed this contract, they got the deal, business, the revenue has increased. Then all of a sudden, it's like they take a step back. Now, personally, over 20 years with some of the women and both 6- and 7-figure earners have told me is that, believe it or not, there are some, they don't know how they made all that money. They just very good at what they were doing as long as they don't think about it and go, and God has blessed them in that way. That's not what I'm telling you to do, okay? But there are others that the undercurrent is, do I deserve this? Is this really me? And what is the ultimate cost? And so they take a moment back, saying, oh, I'm just taking, a little brief break and whatnot at a moment where they should be stepping forward. Okay? So this is why I said AI will help you go anywhere you want to confidently and accelerate it in the wrong direction. Okay? Because the ability to extract your own thought leadership and operationalize your own personal intelligence becomes strategic infrastructure. That's my methodology in a nutshell. It's so much more than that, but that's it. Knowing who you are, not what you bring to the table, but how you're intricately woven, the common threads in your life. Knowing what parts of that you want to offer to somebody else that coincides with the threads that their own life, making both of your journeys more complete and better. AI can help you do that, but it only becomes strategy if you know what that is, because there's personal infrastructure too. We see it in households and families, and we don't call it infrastructure because it's not between four walls of a corporation. But everybody has their own internal and personal infrastructure, okay? And so then you have a narrative. Now, I'm not going to get into that, but narrative does shape trajectory. There are the old stories that are running around in and out of your mind, which is, how are you going to build something new if you're operating from an old narrative, okay? I literally had a woman business owner tell me one time, and the thing was she was earning 6 figures off of this one section of her business alone. So you'd think she'd be happy. But she was pissed off, seriously. She was mad at the customers. She was having headaches. She's like, I am trying to go to whatever, launch this new product line, I believe it was, product line combo service. And they keep wanting to do this. And I was like, okay, well, show me what your marketing has looked like for the past 6 months. It was the same marketing that she's used for the past couple of years. So please, pray tell me, how are they supposed to ask you for something new if they don't know? It was in her head, but she hadn't articulated it. But she was mad at the customers, okay? And sometimes it's possible along your entrepreneurial journey to not realize that your customer has changed, that they've evolved because y'all kind of diverged ways along that path, but it's up to you to notice. Now, the reality, once again, your business already reflects your internal architecture because identity dictates decisions, rhythms, models, and sustainability, okay? AI can replicate information. That's what we have. AI has been trained on, and we trained AI, okay? So please stop looking at AI like it's foreign. Okay, it's really not. AI has been trained on a totality of human knowledge, on the museums and libraries of human excellence. Different models specialize in different things. That's why when you talk to Perplexity, Perplexity is not interested in talking to you whatsoever. It's a research model, okay? Perplexity is also the most accurate model out there. Is what research it gives its citations. It tells you exactly where to find the information. If it cannot find the information, it will not tell it to you, okay? But ChatGPT, Claude, they have personalities. You can't get a photo from a text model. It's not going to happen. So it can replicate information, but what are the things that humans need? How do we know that we're separate, we're unique? How do we value our own existence here It's because each of us has a different level of discernment, judgment, lived context, and human meaning. You can find everything you want. Forget AI for a moment. You can even find all the information that you want to find on Google. One thing you will never find on Google is wisdom. Because wisdom tells you how to apply that knowledge. So the greatest conversations that you have, and there are some that are lengthy, you can have some good conversations. I've had some, with whatever your LLM of choice is. Good conversation. Oh, they understand me. Okay. You've carried your own personal intelligence all your life. Nothing that I'm saying to you is actually new, but you just haven't taken the time, probably most of you, to actually do that. And that too is by design. Because we discount ourselves continuously. We know we're good at something, but we say, oh no, we're not that good. Or, well, so-and-so's is better. Yours is different by design. And in this age of AI, who you are, believe it or not, regardless of how messed up you may think you are, regardless of what you have to work on, who you are is going to speak volumes, because there are only people out there that will hear your voice, but they will never hear you if you do not know who you are, because AI will happily and freely, without subscription, help you imitate anyone you want to be. The strongest businesses, why are these? Y'all, I tell you the truth. I did spell check before I left. There was no double emerge. So, Sylvia, I'm blaming you and Mike over there. Okay, Mike, you tampered with the slides. I shouldn't have given you that file. But so the strongest businesses emerge when people stop abandoning their own perspective in favor of inherited systems. Inherited systems, I mean what you've been told to do. I mean those standard practices that so-and-so have been doing for the past 100 years, and why don't you just keep doing that? I mean that the phrase that you don't have to recreate the wheel, so why don't you just keep it rolling? It's easier for you. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a time and a place for not recreating a wheel. There's a time and place for, doing things that are established. That's all great. Don't take nothing from them. But when those practices come up against who you were created to be, and you decide to kowtow them to them. Kowtow means bow. When you decide to subject yourself, who you were created to be, to them, then how can you expect to stand out? Because the people that need you are not looking for a copy of anybody else. So you just hid yourself on purpose without knowing it, and at the blessing of society. So in the age of AI, you are still the differentiator. I'm going to move on to building. AI can create capacity, and it does some wonderful things. What AI cannot do is determine the value. What you do with it determines that, namely how you value yourself. Now here's the risk. You've probably heard that, it was on some of the news channel, oh, people use AI over time, they get dumber. No. With AI, remember, it began in human intelligence. It's supposed to terminate in human intelligence. So what you do, you think about what it is that you're doing first. You give AI your thoughts, and then it's able to assist and become co-creator, partner, assistant, whatever it is you need to do with you, okay? If you allow AI to be your brain, then human judgment atrophies because you're not using that, okay? There are synapses fired different ways, and I'm not going to give you a neuroscience lesson, but part of the methodology looks at that. There's a different way that you're wired, and furthermore, there is scientific studies that show that multi-passionate people are wired differently. They see the world in terms of layers. They see all the components at once. The problem is we live in a choose one world. which is the kiss of death for a multi-passionate person. Okay? The goal, however, is capability. The right use of AI is lever, which means human intelligence is amplified, not the AI model. That's the reason why whenever you have an assignment, work, project to do, be loyal to the outcome that you want to achieve, not the tool. The tools are going to change anyway. Who knows? Maybe ChatGPT and Claude may change one day. They may merge. I don't know. But the tools are going to be there. They're going to come and go. Whatever tool best supports your outcome, those are the ones you use. No loyalty needed. So myth number 1, AI replaces human value. AI exposes unclear human values. Clarity. The more tools, better business. We don't even need to go to that one. The reality is that the more clarity, everything becomes better. Not only systems, operations, teams, messaging, hiring decisions, product, service, mix, yet alone what you're going to actually offer. Everything becomes better. Your operations, your standard procedures, your practices, invoices, everything. Because you don't pull one thing off the shelf when you're offering something else. You look what it is that you have, what you want to lend to the system, how much of yourself that you actually want to give to a business, and then the tools that you select will either support you or not, but it makes your way easier, even if they are doing the 50% off thing, okay? It makes your life easier. It saves you time, because if you know these things and you've delved in mind your own personal infrastructure, your own business architecture, then you'll see, that's nice, but it's not for me. It's not going to support me. So, and you just saved yourself time, money, and frustration, mental space. See? Clarity. AI is magic, will solve everything. Keep wishing. AI, to be honest with you, not only reflects the quality of thinking, but also the level of human thinking. Every time that I've had a person, because which is amazing to me still, even when I was in technology, I loved it, telecom and whatnot. I programmed phones and whatever else. I knew how that worked. We did something called wave division multiplexing, which is turning light into a number, so the frequency of the fiber that's laid to the home, the data can be transmitted over it. It's like really, really cool. That's how I knew letters, colors can turn into numbers and whatnot, and it was just fascinating to me. And so the quality of whatever the thought that's going out, if you're not getting back what you want, take a look at what you're inputting, because AI can only give you what is dealt with. And so lately we've been hearing a lot about skills, right? You have Claude skills. It is possible to point Claude to a book, it'll read the book, and it'll extract the methodology from it. 8 seconds flat. But Claude knows that skill now, you don't. So everybody's talking about, oh, I got the newest skill, and I got 500 skills and whatnot, and you don't know a thing? Okay, because there was a journey that somebody took on to get there. Okay? And without doing the exercises, yes, you can mimic it. I'm not saying. Because if it's simple, if you can read, you can, go ahead and answer the exercise. But what you are missing is part of the journey and the reason why, and why these things were ordered and whatnot that make that methodology successful. But the people who are interested in extracting only, and like I said, there's a time and place for things, okay? Because that may be all you need to do. But if it's not, then you can't say that the AI didn't work and that the author was crap. Claude knows the skill. They know what's going on. You do not. So here's a few things for the sake of time that I want you to sit with. The pre-AI era is over. And if you've never heard that before, it sounds kind of strange to even say that, right? pre-AI era. But that's where we are. It's done. And AI, it was the conversions part, it was a perfect storm. Even if AI did not enter the scene where it did, what most people don't realize is that the models of business, the subscription models, like the seats that you would have to buy for Microsoft, for example, Microsoft Enterprise, just to have something that probably most of you can relate to. If a company wanted software operating systems from Microsoft, then they would charge them another number of seats. That's what they would pay for, okay? And then they will often charge them, give them a contract, 5-year contract, 10-year contract, 20 years, if the business was well established, of course, and they weren't going to change, their systems and whatnot. Well, a lot of those things were expiring. A lot of those contracts, those agreements were expiring, okay? And so if you have a company that you've been a part of and, if this software would do this one thing, it would be awesome. Well, now we're in the age of AI. You can customize what you want, okay? So why would I enter an agreement of, 100, 1,000 seats for my company at $100 a head when only 10% of those employees actually use it to just give you money? And they're not doing it. A lot of things that you're seeing in society just happen to come around. Along with that time, we had back-to-back natural disasters as well. There were immigration upheavals. There were legislation, ordinance changes, legislation and regulation, regulatory changes throughout multiple industries. And so when AI hit, it kind of created this perfect storm. Everything that you're seeing today is not necessarily the fault of AI. It just happened to enter the scene and step on the stage and not leave it, okay? Business has fundamentally changed, but the fundamentals haven't. For those of you in business, I would encourage you to look at psychographics instead of demographics, because demographics are numbers. Psychographics are situations tell you who a person is. And I just gave you a tip how to broaden your client base. If you caught that. AI is actually humanity's last great innovation. Think about what that means. Not that creativity won't exist. It still will, okay? But think about what that means in terms economically. Some of you are asking the wrong questions, like how much time do I have left to get in on this AI window? The correct question you should be asking is, what has not knowing who I am, a lack of clarity, a lack of structure, cost me already? And can I afford to lose even more in that going forward? And I'll end on this one, freedom. Your freedom is a quality of life and economic proposition. It's time to stop living lives that have no room for your own existence. Because we are now in a time compression. What used to take 2 weeks in AI now only takes about 15 minutes. And many are not structurally prepared for that level. So upgrade your equipment. There's not necessarily a ship, and I'm breezing through this for the sake of time, okay? Upgrade your equipment. If you don't upgrade your equipment, then that means that over time your computer is going to become dumb. That means your only alternative is a subscription that serves them, whoever is, not you. And now you're back in a situation where, as I mentioned on the outset, certified but dependent. You are indeed what the market needs, but no one will know that if you just follow the market and not contribute to it. So yes, AI may accelerate the future, but humans still determine where it goes. We are still the advantage. I thank you for your time, your indulgence, for keeping up with me as I went quickly. It has been an honor to be here before my city. Thank you.
Outstanding, outstanding. Let's give Ms. Vaughn another hand. So we asked her to do a yeoman's effort, which is take a lot of technical expertise and move very fast. There were some wonderful nuggets in there, especially as we look as business owners, how sometimes you have to look high level, but the complexities of doing business, the psychological aspects of it, but more importantly, as we look at this technology, how we maximize it for productivity. And I love the point. What is it? AI can make you multiply a mess. I'm paraphrasing. That
Formalize your mess.
Formalize your mess. And that to me was packed. It takes a moment just unpack that, to process that, and how mental clarity, business clarity, operational clarity is what we all need to make sure that. So we thank you so much, Ms. Vaughn. Awesome. So, but now all of our panelists, I know you have your burning questions in the respective areas, and we're going to open the floor for discussion. All of our panelists are back at the front, so we will open the floor for your questions at this time. Yes.
The microphone just makes me nervous. Okay, hi, I'm Kainisha. This question is for Miss Ingrid with the Nehemiah Project. As you were talking about aging in place, I thought about what initiatives do you have in place with educating our seniors who are entering retirement about Medicare?
We don't necessarily address that, but we participate in forums where we'll go, and a lot of the senior centers have guests come in, and so we will, because we can't do everything, so we normally will refer them to the table down there that deals with Medicaid. And so normally in those kind of forums, you'll have every aspect that a senior would have to face in one room. And so we just kind of refer them to other things. So we don't really handle Medicare type questions. We try to keep them in their home and provide the services that they need to stay dry, to stay safe, and to be comfortable in their homes.
Okay, thank you.
As the mayor of the city, one of the things that I'm grappling with is the statistics have shown that we have a growing aging population. I mean, it really is countrywide, to tell you the truth, but specifically in Fairburn. And a lot of the homeowners are single, most of the time female owners. And as Ingrid mentioned in her presentation, a lot of them may be widowed or divorced, but they're on the outside living in a fabulous home, but on the inside there is air pockets coming in. There's plumbing issues that need to be addressed. The electricity becomes an issue because of affordability, right? And that leads to some of the health issues that we're experiencing that Dr. Wimberly spoke about. So all of this is interconnected, and how we all can be effective is to know who does what so that we can refer others to, because we can't all do everything, but we can know as much as we can so that we can refer. And that's what I am trying to do, is develop the resources, because when I was out on the campaign trail, I heard a lot of those issues and concerns, and I need to know where to refer people and how to get them there.
And one of the things that we will do if they call our office and need help, we will either direct them to United Way 211 that can tell them where to go to get what they need, findhelp.org. They can go there to find what they need. So if it's Medicare issues, if it's helping them with their income taxes, it's just a variety of things. And ARC has a wonderful resource, a booklet that they can go to, and they can go on their website. Also, AARP has just tremendous resources. So there are things out there. The issue is that all seniors they're not tech savvy. And so they cannot, they just get nervous when it comes to going online and doing those type of things. And so we highly recommend that they get involved in community centers where they have these people come out and give them the resources that they need. But if they can't get out, and a lot of them can't because they may be disabled, they may be handicapped, I think another business or another way to be able to service them is somebody take the initiative to go into their homes and see what they need. Or if I'm doing something, for instance, home repair, and I know that you're doing maybe driving to appointments, your sons, I can give that senior those resources, because what we do with Fulton County, we didn't get the CSP grant this time, but we have to be able to have wraparound services that we can offer to them. So whether it's food, whether it's being able to help them to go to some of the, like Medicare. So we will ask them a source of questions and then send them to the prospective places where they can get the help. Not all grants allow us to do that, but that particular one does. So.
Could you address that? Because I know you have a lot of patients that may present who may not have health insurance or limited health insurance and all of those issues and how you guys are addressing that.
So at Grady, we actually now have it on our website, which is relatively new. So anyone who is a patient or thinking about being a patient, they can go online, and we have something called a financial planning section on there. And so they can go in and put their information in, address, insurance information, employment information, or if they don't have it. And then what they can do is they can make an appointment to come in and be seen. Either can be virtually on the phone, or they can come in person to be seen to do a financial counseling appointment. In addition, anything that, say you want to come in and get a colonoscopy and you just want to know with your insurance, or if you don't have insurance, what that cost will be. It gives you everything online now. So they've streamlined a lot of that.
But between the answers that both Dr. Wembley and Ingrid has given, there's a huge gap. And that is the tech savvy, access to a computer, because now we got a digital divide issue, number one. You know, the educational piece of it and the intimidation piece of it. But where is that generation or two that's behind that senior who can help and support them to even get access to all of that? So a lot of entrepreneurial ideas have been presented here tonight. A lot of them.
Yeah, I wanted to add to that too. Piedmont Hospital, I had an appointment yesterday morning, and I was looking at something, and we were trying to help someone find money for rent. And I saw something, if you need help with A, B, C, D, E, click here. And I was like, wow, very resourceful, probably similar to Grady. Everything you needed, it's not just for seniors, but for all of the services someone would need, you can find it on the Piedmont website as well. And to your point too, we hired a document acquisition person. I think I mentioned it to someone. And that document acquisition person actually goes to the home because they can't get to the mailbox. They don't have anybody to help them with their applications. And we hired that person just to be able to go to their homes to help them and to find out what else they were in need of so we could give them those resources face to face. And so that's not all of them, but we do have someone that goes out. She normally goes Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday to get the application. She'll take them to the Social Security office because you do need to verify your income when you get services like this. And she takes them to get their income documents. And so that is very, very helpful. And I think that it should be made mandatory for people that have certain businesses that they do, that they have a person that works in your organization, especially nonprofits, that can go and do that.
And I think that's another reason, though, too, why, you know, as we think about all the sophistications of these services that are offered, if you go back to the basics of just community and making sure that the people in your community are taken care of, we don't really need to hire a whole bunch of people to do a whole bunch of stuff if we take care of ourselves. As I get older, I just start to see with all the things that we've done, all the advancements, it really comes back to the basic. Take care of your neighbors, your community, and that's going to be the best thing.
One of the things that's being done here in Fairburn as far as seniors, first of all, the city of Fairburn has been extremely supportive of helping seniors. We do have a class that talks about Medicare and Medicaid. We also have a class that's every Tuesday at 1 o'clock, and it provides you movement in terms of falling, So that's one of the other things. But one of the things that I've found that we don't have is, it appears, and I'm not sure if this is correct or not, on assisted living. Assisted living has gotten extremely expensive, and a lot of companies have gone out of business. So what we're seeing is if you live in an active over 55, over 62 building, and you have some of your residents who really need to be in assisted living, their families are saying, well, it's $6,000 to go to assisted living, and you can stay here for $1,500, and then the residents are the ones who are bringing food to them and making sure that, you know, their needs are being taken care of. As we all get older, I'm already 80, but as other people get older, this is going.
God's been good.
Oh my God. Okay. But this is going to be a problem. Yes. It's going to be business opportunities for somebody if they can figure out how they can make it work. But then, another thing is happening is because people are living so much longer. What are we looking at in terms of medicine and the medical industry as to, is there a way that we can approach this? Because insurance will not pay for assisted living.
Our healthcare system is not for the longevity of life that we have right now. I mean, that's just a basic fundamental.
So I'm going to die.
No, it's not that. It's just that it's going to go back to community again. It's going to go back to that individual person and what that looks like, what their underlying health status is, how they're functioning. And then also those relationships with being able to have the resources to be able to take care of themselves. If they have a chronic illness, if they start to have medical problems, what is that support system that they have in place? You know, it's interesting because I've oftentimes seen, it's two groups that I see that really need each other, but I don't know if they know they need each other. I have my group with seniors, like you just identified, you know, technology, those types of things. Then you have your groups of young adults, right? They need mentorship, they need advisement, they need tutoring. They want to do all these different creative things outside of just the regular educational tracks. Wouldn't it be nice if the two of them got together? What a force that would be, because of the fact that they need each other. But for some reason, I never see in communities where we have those connections where you have, like you said, if the seniors are meeting every Tuesday at 1, how about how the youth come and meet every Tuesday at 1 with them to talk about, to help things? You know, we do it organically sometimes. I mean, my kids hate it because I get older, I can't really see, and so I have my kids read the newspaper and read stuff to me. They hate it. Well, I don't feel like reading, but I do critique their reading, but that may be why. But think about how that interconnectedness and how we are looking outside for something that really can be done inside. Mm-hmm. Yes.
People don't have it no more.
Don't?
Oh.
Well, they think they do with FaceTime, right?
Yeah. So just like you said, the epidemic is community. The reason why I raised the question that I did, just to see the need of, within the community, because I do have 8 years of experience in health insurance and Medicare and things of that nature. And one thing I'm like, okay, how can I help my community? Because I am the one that's like, oh, I want to meet you face to face. How can I help? And that's what I notice, our seniors like as well too, because they're being pushed to technology, and that's intimidating to them. Also with workforce, retirement is not celebrated. The seniors are not getting excited about retirement. That's why they're working longer, because of the fear of the unknown. So that's why, I went into HR to be able to specialize within the Medicare retirement offboarding stage and getting seniors excited about it. So that's why I want to connect with, the business owners, or maybe connect with you on how I can get into the community and you guys provide me resources, because I would love to knock on your door and say, hello, congratulations on retirement. How can I help you,
We will have at the freestanding ED, we will actually we have a community room there. And one of the things that Marilyn McCain is charged with doing is we want to fill that community room with education and training classes from organizations from the community. We can give you the patient base. We can give you the branding. If we have people that say, hey, we'd like to come and provide these education and trainings for the community, that's definitely something that we're looking to do. Yeah.
And then also at the senior center here in Fairburn, yeah, you can go over there and talk with them, and they always have people coming in and talking to us.
In the beginnings.
In the beginnings.
Kristen, could you talk about how we might use AI from your perspective, given the conversation here? How might we look at AI to attempt to address this, even from as a business owner, personally speaking, et cetera?
So that's two things. One, that's a more nuanced conversation because we have to know is what we're speaking about. Of course, AI is collaborative. Now it is. You can actually share the same LLM conversations, LLM, large language models, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, et cetera. Some of them allow you to share that. I would point back to the presentation, though. You don't have to know the way forward, but you do have to know what it is that you want to do. You don't have to worry about the how. The how will cause you to stumble, especially if you don't have the knowledge in any given area. And that's for anything, not only the conversation at hand. And so be clear as you can at this stage around what it is that you want to do. And then go to a model like Perplexity that has access to research worldwide, things even within our own community perhaps that we may not know of, okay? And let the research point you closer to what it is that you want. So it's not that, can AI help? Yeah, AI can help you do a lot of things, including do much of that autonomously, honestly. It can do the research for you. In fact, that would be great to save time. That's one thing that for this case in particular, due to the regulatory compliance and all the requirements around medical, it would be great to just do Perplexity or input into Perplexity, have a conversation with them, to have Perplexity, Claude, whoever, do the research for you and then notify you when it's done. And Perplexity will present you with the cited body of knowledge for that, and then you can go from there, but at least the research will give you a point. Mm-hmm. No, AI is vast. It can't help you do just about anything. You got to know what it is that you want to do. So if the first stop is research, then have the LLMs do that to save you time. And you can accelerate that, collapse your time frame and move forward, but at least you'll be doing it from an informed foundation rather than, in the dark and I don't know what to do next. Mm-hmm. It will lead the way.
Well, that's definitely a clear nugget for me. because that's the human part of it. You got to know what you want, have some idea about where you want to go before you can use technology to get you in the direction. Because as you said, it could take you anywhere, anywhere.
Quickly.
Quickly, that's correct. Yes.
Okay, so we are wrapping up. Thank you, Madam Mayor. We are wrapping up. Again, let's give a round of applause for our panelists. They have brought a wealth of knowledge this evening, and we just personally thank each of you for all that you've contributed. I know we all have gotten an abundance of insight this evening, information that we can take away and just maximize what we're doing in our productivity. We will provide copies of presentations for those who have been in attendance, and we'll also follow up with whatever contact information that our panelists would like to share. For you to follow up. We also, for those who signed in, our panelists have asked for your contact information of your businesses. This is, what did we say earlier? It's not a network, it's a relationship. So they want to cultivate a relationship with you. So it's very important that you sign in for us so that we can get that information. Before we leave, I'd like for our Main Street coordinator to come up and give a quick update. We're a little bit past time, but we promise to get you right out of some upcoming activities that are going to be happening in our downtown. Ms. LaTanya, let's give her applause. LaTanya Amy.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you guys for coming out tonight. So we're going to start. We have a lot of great and exciting things happening within Main Street and economic development within the city. First, we are still running our initiative with the historic clock at the campus. It's an opportunity to secure a lasting legacy, personalized plaques that are affixed permanently to the Fairburn Town Clock, which is located on the education campus. They are $150, and we have roughly less than about 75 slots left. You can purchase the plaque for your business, school, nonprofits, churches, individual veterans can all be a part. The info is listed in ATL Magazine, so you can find the ad placed there. You can reach out to me if you have my information, and I'll provide that information as well. You can reach out to me, and I can forward you the application, and you can apply. And once we receive that, we'll go ahead and we can complete that for you. We also have the Groove Smoke and Grill, I cannot get the word out, barbecue competition, which is a lifestyle event where we'll be having food, music, and entertainment, and that event will be July 25th. And that is going to be at the Frankie Arnold stage. We are having our next Foodie Friday, which is a food truck series that we have launched. Our first event was May 8th, which we had a great time. The next one is going to be May 29th from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. and this one will be focusing on health and wellness. We will have live yoga instructor that'll be out, and we're going to have a workout class by Cheyenne Green from Effect Fitness. So you can come out, you can get your workout, have some yoga, have some food. We'll have some healthy options, and we'll still also have some nice treats for everyone. And we also have Ren Thursdays, which is a micro version of the Renaissance Festival. So if you've ever been to the Renaissance Festival, or if you have not, this is an opportunity for you to come on out. You can see some of the acts that do perform at the actual Renaissance Festival, and that will be this Thursday, May 28th, from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. And we also have an initiative. There's a Boys to Men Empowerment Summit that we will be having June 27th. It's an opportunity focusing on young males between the ages of 10 to 15. We'll have some interactive workshops focusing on grooming, etiquette, mentorship, and mental health, and more for the young boys. We'll have some speakers come out to talk with the boys and give the boys an opportunity to kind of speak and talk about, the things that they're experiencing. And June is Men's Mental Health Month, so that's why we're going to bring in the mental health aspect with the boys and talk with them about mental health. And we also have the Passport to Fairburn initiative that we're focusing. It's Introduction to Restaurants and Businesses within Fairburn. It will be a directory booklet that we'll be creating, and it will be within the businesses where residents and non-residents will have a guide to all the local establishments within the city of Fairburn. We will expound on the booklet, like during the holiday time, where we'll offer where you can place coupons and discounts into the booklets to drive the residents and visitors in the city to come out to your businesses and patronize. So if you have any additional questions, you can reach out to me via email, lamy@fairburn, and I'll be happy to assist.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Amy. So those are some activities that are coming up. Listen, thank you so much for coming out tonight. You all took time out of your schedule. So we wish you a very good evening, safe travels, and until next time. All right, blessings.